So today we're going to do a test review on the Homeleader Meat Grinder. Amy's got a request to do some chili for a potluck at work tomorrow, and I'm in the mood for some hamburger. So we're going to do a little coarse grind for her meat, for her chili, and I'm just going to do a little regular grind for my hamburger. So let's get started and show you how this thing works. First of all, I want to thank Homeleader for providing us with the meat grinder so we can go ahead and do a test review. Amy recently did an unboxing. If you want to learn more about them, we'll put the links in the description below. One of the good things about having a dedicated meat grinder as opposed to one of those other brands where you put it on a mixer is that this only does one job, and that's grind meat, and we have all kinds of different attachments to do different things. So I'm really excited to go ahead and give it a try with that. There's several different dies, so we can do different kinds of grinds with it. One of the reasons why you want to do your own grind on meat is you don't know when you go to the store what it is. It's convenient, but it can come from a number of different animals. At least when you go to the store and you get one big roast or a steak or something, and you cut it up into your little strips and you feed it in there, at least you know it came from one animal. Otherwise, it can come from lots of different things. And you can kind of control the quality. It's fresh. You don't know how long the one's been sitting in the store has been. So it's just going to taste a lot better. That's probably the biggest reason is you want to control quality and taste, and these things are good for doing that. So let's get started and grind some meat. All right, so today we're going to use some Angus beef. I got it at my big box store. You can see right there. This bad boy, there's 2 roasts here, and they weigh about 6.5 pounds total, but I don't know which one weighs what. I know I need a couple of pounds for Amy's chili. I need about a pound for my burger, and I need the remainder for some beef stew I'm going to make. So what I'm going to just do real quick is I'm just going to weigh this bad boy and see what I'm working with here. This meat is cold. It's been in the refrigerator. It's been about 20 degrees since I bought it. And all this stuff is frozen, and I'll talk about that in a second. So right now, this meat doesn't weigh anything because this thing just turned off on me. So let's go ahead. Weigh it again here. All right, zero it out. Just going to put this guy on here. And he weighs about 2 pounds and change. So that'll be for Amy, and this other guy will be pretty much for me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and put him on there, I guess. All right, we're going to go ahead and start cutting this. I want to cut this into maybe 1 inch thick slices here, just to be on the safe side, to make sure it can get into my the feeder for the thing. One of the big important things about making sure that your meat is properly chilled is that you want the fat to be nice and hard, because if the meat is wobbly, then the fat gets kind of chewy and chewed up, and the consistency isn't all that great. You can put this in your freezer for limited times, of course. You don't want this thing frozen solid. And some people will even cut it up and then freeze it and then feed it through their meat grinder. I think that's a little bit too much work. I'd rather just make sure it's chilled really good along with all the parts for your meat grinder. Get those things all done at once. So I don't know if I made a mess here, but let's go ahead and free up a little bit of room here. Okay, so we made short work of that. So now we're ready to put the grinder together with the proper die and get grinding. So now the fun part, we're going to go ahead and start putting our meat grinder together. So the first part we're doing here is we're going to get the chute going, and it goes in all the way, and then you tighten this knob down and then locks it in place really good. We're going to get let's get the tray on here, that way we get it out of the way. Let's get the auger in there. But before we put the auger in there, let's go ahead and get the cutter on there. And we're going to go ahead and put it where the sharp blades fit inward, away from the die, at which point we're going to be using the coarse one first. Let's go ahead and get this in there. Yay, he's in there. Get the coarse grind die on here. Fits in the slots. And then let's go ahead and tighten it down. Let's turn it on and see if it works. Oops. Let's plug it in. Turn it on. All right, seems to work. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the bowl under here. Let's go ahead and get some meat. All right, and one of the more important parts here is this little tamper, which is quite important, so we don't lose fingers, right? So we got this thing, knobs on the right hand side. It's in the on position, and then there's another knob that we'll use. One thing I can see with the meat coming out is because the components are chilled and the meat is chilled, is the texture. It's not coming out all like greasy and gooey, like if you were throwing room temperature bacon through here. But it's actually coming out in crumbles, which is kind of like what we want. Go ahead and get that all. Okay, so at this point, it's gone through all the meat, which is good. And let's go ahead and hold this up here. So this is a coarse grind. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator right now. And we're going to change the dies out and put in a regular one. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut up some meat here so I can do my hamburger. And then we'll compare the two grinds. All right. Now we're getting ready to change out the die here. So once again, the plug is unplugged. The metal is still really nice and cold, which is what we really need. So freezing it really well helped. And so we're going to go ahead and get the thinner one in here. Let's get the on here. So put that back in there, get it tightened down, snug. Let's get the top part back on here. That's all good. Get that die out of the way. Let's go ahead and it's plugged in now. And now we can grind my meat. So without further ado, let's turn the guy on. Yeehaw! So the first couple of pieces coming out might have been a little odd shaped because we changed the die out. But these are all coming out more of a regular cut now. In fact, this thing is just self-feeding. I don't even need to tamp it. Got it all. Tamp it a little. There's just a little bit of meat that you can't quite get because it's maybe a quarter of an inch. So I think this did a really good job. Didn't get stuck, it cut what I wanted. But more importantly, I'm going to show you the difference between these two grinds. Okay, now that we've had a chance to grind these up, I kind of want to show you the difference a little bit. This is the normal or the regular grind. You can kind of see that it's, you know, I don't know, kind of a narrow diameter. And then this is kind of the grind, if you want to see that this is not quite twice diameter, but it kind of looks like it to me a little bit. It's definitely thicker. Now what's important about a coarse grind, especially when you're doing chili, is because chili, usually you like to cook it for hours for all kinds of flavors and concoctions to get absorbed into the meat and everything. And if you use regular grind, it can fall apart, and if you stir it too much, it'll turn into sand. And then when people eat it, you know, they don't have chunks of meat, they just have sand. And so chili grind, or the thicker, the coarse grind, that's really helps. The problem is a lot of times when you go to the supermarket, especially around Christmas time, you can't find the stuff. Or you got to beg your butcher to find the right die to cut the stuff for you. And then sometimes they also charge you more. So if you just want to find what meat you want to work with, you know, you can go ahead and do it. In this case, I use chuck. Chuck has plenty of fat, and you'll kind of see the one roast has a lot more white in it, a lot more fat than this other one did, and that's fine. That wasn't actually by design. It just turned out to be that way. If you want 80-20, you know, and you can't just find a roast that's 80-20, right? It's got some fat on it. Then you can always incorporate additional fat when you do this. If nobody has problems with pork, throw some fat back in there. Throw some bacon. Do whatever you want. Be creative with your meat. Grind it. It's yours. Otherwise, when you're doing sausage, a lot of times you will incorporate different meats and different amount of fat and a lot of seasoning at the time you do it. In this case, since we're going to be doing chili, Amy's going to add her flavoring at the time she cooks it, and it'll have plenty of time. And also with me, when I do my hamburger, I'm just going to add some salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of garlic powder to it. I'm going to keep it simple. I don't really need it to be super seasoned at this exact point. But if you're doing sausage, you would typically throw a lot of seasoning at the time that you grind it all together. So I give this guy a 2 thumbs up. He did basically what I wanted to, which was grind it and not get jammed, not make a mess, and not really make it more work than it had to be. It did a great job. It fed for the most part without me having to do the tamp at all. So I give it a 2 thumbs up. So I just want to thank Homeleader for giving us this sample so we can go ahead and try it out, and I really like it. I haven't seen one problem with this. We've used other meat grinders in the past, and we have had some problems and had some bad reviews to deal with. But this one really seems to be doing good. So that's why I give it my thumbs up. So once again, if you want to find out more information on this, we'll put the link in the description down below so you can go ahead and check it out. If you like this video, please subscribe, comment, give us a like, and please turn notifications on so you're aware of when we do our uploads. Visit our website, amylearnstocook.com, and we're also on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. Go, 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 go.